To turn things over to Britt Brouse, our Director of Strategy. Britt is a great member of our Tempest team. She works with a lot of all of the website projects that we do here at Tempest, as well as ongoing content marketing services to kind of help identify how we can make website content work better. Obviously, with the CRM content, a lot of times that is feeding into your website. There's a lot of different things happening on your website end, and there's a lot of opportunities to look at ways to streamline and improve things within your website content. So we will turn it over to Britt to give us some of her inside tips on how to manage that process as well.
Hi, thank you, Jenny, for that introduction, and thank you, IDSS team, for all those awesome tips. So let's dive into content decluttering. I just want to give a shout out to Marie Kondo, who is basically the queen of decluttering. If you're not familiar with her work, she's the best-selling author of the book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, as well as the star of her own Netflix show, which I highly recommend. We like to keep her in mind as sort of a spirit animal for our marketing department. And her philosophy about decluttering and cleaning up is to evaluate things and ask if they spark joy. So as you consider these tips and go through your own website, definitely be asking, does this blog, does this page spark joy? So our team uses a ton of tools to do content audits and content inventories on our clients' sites. So we use SEMrush, Moz, Screaming Frog, but we also use these free tools that many of you will probably already have set up on your site. So just want to mention that Google Analytics is a wonderful tool to get a lot of data out of and to evaluate the content on your site and clean things up. And then Google Search Console is another one that you might not be as familiar with. It's a free tool that you can set up and link to your website, and you can see trends that are happening in the search landscape and how those relate directly to the content on your site. So there's a lot of great insights in these two free tools, so keep those in mind. Another quick tip or tool with respect to using Google, this is what you'd call a site search. So you can actually mine Google's search results to find different types of content on your site. So if you enter site : and then the URL of your website, and then use an operative like and a keyword. So maybe you want to do it for an upcoming seasonal thing like fall or Halloween. You can kind of identify all the existing content on your site for that keyword. So that's a really handy tool. So when you're evaluating your website content, what should you be looking for? This is a great thing to do, during a downtime. So the first thing to look for is just duplicate content. It's bad for search engine optimization to have two exactly same pages on the same topic on your site. So if you do find that you have two blogs or two pages that have word for word similar content or are addressing the same topic, find ways to streamline. A good tip there is to check out any posts that you have from guest bloggers or people who are authoring content on your blog, and run those posts through a plagiarism checker. A good one is actually Grammarly, the free grammar tool. They have a plagiarism checker, and that's an easy way to see if that guest poster has that content on their own site as well as on your site. You also want to look for underperforming content. So we mentioned Google Analytics. That's a great tool. You can basically look at all the organic landing pages on your site and then export that data. We recommend looking at least 1 year of data when you're looking for underperforming content, because as many of you know, SEO can take a long time to take hold. So if you have a newer blog post or a newer page, there's a chance that it could take as long as 6 months for it to gain traction in the search engines. So definitely look at content that hasn't performed well for a year or longer. Another easy trick and something that we see commonly is blog posts or pages on the site that mention a specific year in the title. So if you look at all the blogs on your site and you look for year 2017 or 2018, that's a quick way to pick out old content that could either be updated, integrated with other content, or removed. And then the other biggest offenders that we do see with respect to these content audits are old campaigns. So old campaigns, old contests, old contest landing pages, and old press releases. So those are some content types that you should definitely look through and see if you can eliminate them from the site. Finally, thin content. So if you are scrolling through some of this data or looking at your site, if you see blogs or landing pages that have fewer than 250 words, just consider either expanding that content, combining it with some other content on your website, or potentially removing that thin content because it's a negative signal for SEO. So something that we've been seeing come up with respect to the COVID-19 and coronavirus is evergreen event strategy. So this is key, all year round, with or without the crisis at hand, but especially with the events that are going on right now. A lot of people, their first inclination is to remove that event content from their site. We actually recommend, keeping your event pages and your event listings up, but updating them so that it's apparent that the event is either canceled or postponed, or that there's new information coming. So this is a key strategy for your events. And you can see that the folks at OregonCoast.org have updated, and it's right there in the meta description that it's postponed for 2020. So here's some really quick and easy things that you can do today on your website to help refresh your content. So the first one is to look at pages on your site, and if there's an opportunity to do so, add subheadings like an H2 or an H3 to chunk out the content on the page. So this is from Visit Colorado Springs. It's a page on a really popular hike. And there's really good subheadings throughout the page that make it scannable. It's really good to do this both for search engines and for humans. It makes it easy for search engine spiders to scan your content, and it's also easy for the user too. This is an example from Pittsburgh, from Visit Pittsburgh. So organize content into lists and bullet points whenever possible. Numbered lists are still really, really effective in terms of getting people to click through from search results. So definitely deploy numbered lists whenever you have a chance. This is a list of top 28 free things to do. Actually, a lot of data shows that offbeat numbers like 28 versus 20 perform better. So that's a good little tip there. If you see pages on your site that don't have any images, go ahead and add an image to the page. That helps break up the text. It's more engaging. You'll see better engagement metrics on that page as a result. And then also, very importantly, add an image alt text or alt title. So if you were gonna add image alt text to this image here, you could add dog on beach wearing sunglasses, dog on specific beach in your destination. It's just a way for those who are using accessibility technology to basically get those images read to them rather than being able to view them. And it's also a good way to show up in image searches. So another thing to check on the site is your links. This happens a lot with events and partners. Links break over time. It's something that our team has a lot of automated SEO tools, and it's something that we check ongoing for our clients. But as you're clicking through your site, test your links, make sure they're working and they're not sending someone to a 404 page, because that's really negative signal for SEO. It's also really bad for the user experience. And then this example from Discover Flagstaff is showing that you would want to open links to external websites in a new window. So the user's clicking on a link here, it's taking them to the National Forest page. And that way you don't end the session on your website. You're keeping them open in one tab and sending them out to the external site in a new tab. Another good thing to do throughout your web content is to look for pages that are a little bit light in terms of content, and think about how you can feature, highlight, relate other things on the site for people to check out. So this example is from Discover Lancaster in Pennsylvania. And the page is about touring the covered bridges in the area. And then at the bottom of the page, they have this really nice call out of featured content. So you can see there's a specific tour for this. This audience might also want to do biking and hiking. They might want to do free things or check out all the regions and towns in the area. So basically, by adding featured content to your pages, you can beef up some light content, and you can also help keep people engaged. Finally, calls to action. Yeah, so if you have a page with light content, or you feel like there's nothing for them to engage with after they're done reading the blog or the page itself, add a call to action at the bottom. So right now, we're finding it's really key for folks to build their email marketing lists, because it's an owned channel that allows you to communicate throughout this daily changing new landscape that we have. So this example is from Florence, Alabama, and the Shoals. And they have a really cute music themed email call to action that pops up at the bottom of the page. So this might be something to do, is go through your site and make sure you're asking for that email sign up on key pages of your site. And then another really good low-hanging fruit in terms of content, if you have any PDFs on your site that you can convert into web pages or blogs, that's also a really great thing to do during the downtime. When we were working with the folks in Blue Ridge, Georgia on their new site, we discovered that they had all of these awesome scenic drives. They were stored as PDFs, which were excellent, but what our team was able to help them do was to convert the content into actual pages on the site. And so now those pages are able to be crawled by search engines and accessed immediately. And then the user can also download the PDF if they like to.